and today we'll be speaking about multiple choice questions. But before we get into that, I'd like to speak to you about the structure of the IELTS listening exam. And whether you are doing the academic IELTS or the general IELTS, this video will be useful for you because the listening part of IELTS is exactly the same for academic or general. So firstly, there are 4 parts to the IELTS listening test, and you have 30 minutes, so 30 minutes to complete the test, and you hear the recordings one time only. At the end of the test, you have 10 minutes to write your answers into the answer sheet. So let's take a look at the structure. So section 1 is a conversation between 2 people. And generally, it's normally a man and a woman speaking. So you generally hear a female voice and a male voice in the conversation speaking about a general social topic. So it could be a discussion about university or about work, and often you'll hear times and dates and details being mentioned. You might also hear the people changing their mind during the discussion. So that's a little trick that IELTS uses to catch you out during the listening test. And the second, section 2, is one person giving a presentation. It could be a description of a map, in which case you will have a visual. Section 3 is a discussion among 4 people. So you'll often have 2 female and 2 male voices, and in the discussion they could be discussing any type of topic, maybe quite a technical topic or an academic subject. And then section 4, it is a lecture. So it's one person speaking about, generally, again, an academic topic. It could be something quite technical. Most students feel that section 3 is the most challenging part of the listening because you hear 4 voices, 4 accents possibly. So that's it. That's the structure of the test. In order to prepare, make sure that you practice listening to different sounds, different accents. That will really help you. But let's move on now to multiple choice questions.
Multiple choice. You will see a question followed by 3 options. So 1 correct answer and 2 distractors. Those distractors may include words that might sound similar to what you hear in the audio, or indeed you might hear words that appear in the audio, but they are not correct. So let's talk about a method for a 2-person conversation. So first, read the title of the audio to find out what the context of the audio is, what the topic is of the recording. Read the questions and the answers before you listen to the audio. Look out for the keywords so that you can find them in the audio, and check for paraphrasing and synonyms. So IELTS often use paraphrase during the audio, and that may appear in the questions. So you're listening for other ways of saying the same thing, basically. Be careful about answers where the speaker changes his mind or changes her mind, or they might change the date. So that often appears, especially in the 2-person conversation. You will see the title of the listening like here, and you'll see the questions. And of course, you won't normally have a video. You'll hear an audio during the exam. So that's what you'll normally see. Let's take a look at the title. It says making an appointment. Now let's read the question. So questions 1 to 3, choose the correct answers A, B, or C. What time does Stefan arrive in London? So it's an appointment. We're looking for a time or maybe a day. Now, when we read the question, we see the word what time. So we're looking for a time. And number 2, it's also a time. And then in number 3, question number 3, where will they meet? So the question word is where. So we're looking for a location. So let's let's have a listen. Why don't we listen to this together now and see if you can catch the time.
Smith speaking.
Hello, Greg. How do you do?
Yes, hello, Stefan. How are you?
Not too bad. I have a slight cold. Last week it was very bad, but now it's getting better.
Yes, well, I'm glad to hear that. What can I do for you, Stefan?
I'm in London next week, and perhaps we could meet us.
Yes, that would be very nice. When will you be here?
I will arrive on Wednesday, the 2nd. My flight arrives at 9:30, so I could be at your office at 10.
Are you sure that's right? It will take you about an hour to get to London from Heathrow.
Yes, I know. Like I said, I arrive at 8:30, so that gives me 1.5 hours to be at your office at 10.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you said you arrived at 9:30.
No, 8:30.
Sorry, of course. Let me just check my diary.
Okay, so let's pause it there. And maybe you heard what happened, that initially Stefan says that he will arrive at 9:30, but in fact, he makes a mistake. The correct time is 8:30, and his colleague, Greg, corrects him on this point. So that is a typical example of what you will hear in IELTS, somebody correcting himself or somebody changing his mind. Okay, so let's listen to the next part of the conversation. Let's move it forward a little bit.
To get to London from Heathrow.
Yes, I know. Like I said, I arrive at 8:30, so that gives me 1.5 hours to be at your office at 10.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you said you arrived at 9:30.
No, 8:30.
Sorry, of course. Let me just check my diary. I'm sorry, Stefan, but I have an appointment at 10. Why don't we meet at lunchtime?
Well, let me see. I have a date at 12, but I should be finished by 13:30. It's near that sushi place we went to. We could meet there just after 13:30. What about that?
I'm sorry, 13:30 is what time?
It's 1:30 p.m.
Okay, 1:30 it is then.
Great. I'll send you an email with confirmation. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you too, Stefan.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, how did you get on? Did you understand the times? It's a little bit tricky because in the answers we see 12:30 p.m., 1 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. about the time that Greg and Stefan decide to meet. However, in the audio, Stefan uses the word 13:30, so which is also means 1:30, but it's not obvious to Greg. Finally, where did they decide to meet? They were talking about getting to the airport. Stefan was talking about getting to the airport. So answer B is a distractor. However, they finally decide to meet at the sushi place. And Stefan says it very quickly, and I believe it's only said once in the audio. So just to wrap up, here are some tips about multiple choice listening. Make notes as you listen to the audio. There may be gaps between answers, so you might not hear the answers immediately. You may have to wait for it to arrive. Watch out for sounds that are similar. Watch out for times that are similar. And don't forget, times and details change during the audio. So that's a common trick. Guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you will do well in your listening. Keep practicing and good luck in IELTS listening exam.